We're counting down the top 10 Elvis Presley songs of all time, ranked by their chart power, critical acclaim, and the lasting mark they left on music history. From electrifying movie anthems and groundbreaking early hits to later tracks that redefined his legacy, each entry captures a different era of the King's career. Some classics earned their spot with record-smashing sales, others with cultural impact that is still felt today. Which Elvis track takes the ultimate crown? Let's begin with number 10.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva.
At number 10, the countdown lights up with the neon flash of Viva Las Vegas. Released in 1964 as the title song for Elvis's high-octane MGM film, this track is not just a movie soundtrack cut. It is the anthem that stamped his name on the Las Vegas Strip forever. The film itself pulled in $4.5 million at the box office, but the real jackpot was the image. Elvis, decked out in glitz, side by side with Anne Margaret, spinning through casino showrooms and race car scenes. Their on-screen chemistry fueled rumors and headlines, and Anne Margaret later recalled in her memoir that their chemistry was electric and mirrored the song's energy. While Viva Las Vegas never soared to the top of the United States charts, it cracked the United Kingdom top 30, and decades later found new life with more than 200 million streams, a rare feat for a soundtrack song from the mid-60s. The tune's swagger and showmanship became Elvis's calling card every time he stepped onto a Vegas stage, shaping his persona as the King of Sin City long after the film's release. Today it is a staple at Vegas events and a favorite for covers, from Anne Margaret herself to countless tribute acts. Viva Las Vegas lands at number 10, not for chart domination, but for turning a single song into a lasting brand, one that would echo through every rhinestone jumpsuit and sold-out residency that followed.
On a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
Number 9 belongs to a song that stands apart from the glitz and spectacle in the Ghetto. Released in 1969, this track carried Elvis into new territory, trading escapism for empathy. The song's writer Mac Davis found inspiration watching a news segment about poverty in Chicago. He later recalled how the story of a child born into hardship became the seed for the lyrics. When Davis's demo reached Elvis, Presley insisted on recording it, even as his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, worried about the risks of tackling such a charged subject. Studio notes from the 1969 sessions show Elvis was determined, telling his team he wanted to give the song everything he had. The result was a single that fused his soulful delivery with a message about the cycle of poverty and violence. In the Ghetto climbed to number 25 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went platinum, a rare feat for a protest song in Elvis's catalog. Today it has been streamed nearly 150 million times, covered by artists like Nick Cave, and praised for its compassion. Mac Davis later said that Elvis poured soul into it. The song's enduring power comes not from chart dominance, but from the way it revealed a new dimension to the king, one willing to use his voice to speak for those who had none. In early 1957, a new Elvis single hit record store shelves and radio airwaves with an energy that felt unstoppable. The song All Shook Up wasn't just another catchy tune. It was the song that cemented Elvis's place at the top of the charts, proving his breakout year was no fluke. The story goes that after the runaway success of Don't Be Cruel, the label RCA was hungry for another smash. Internal memos show the label fast-tracked All Shook Up, banking on its raw, playful vibe to keep Elvis front and center in America's living rooms. The gamble paid off. The song rocketed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 8 weeks straight, a run that left no doubt about Elvis's hit-making power. It was written by Otis Blackwell, who famously claimed he wrote the lyrics while literally shaking up a bottle of soda. The song captured the restless spirit of the era. Fans lined up to buy the single, pushing it to double platinum sales. Today, All Shook Up continues to find new listeners, racking up nearly 400 million streams. It is a track that radiates the excitement of Elvis's early years, all nervous energy and swagger. But it also signals the start of his unstoppable momentum. With RCA's rapid-fire release strategy, Elvis was no longer just a phenomenon. He was a fixture. The next entry would show just how quickly he could pivot from rock and roll rebel to international crooner.
It's now or never. Come hold me tight.
In the summer of 1960, Elvis Presley returned from his army service with a new ambition to conquer the world not just as a rock and roll star, but as an international balladeer. It's Now or Never became the centerpiece of that transformation. The melody, borrowed from the classic Italian song O Sole Mio, was given new English lyrics by Aaron Schroeder and Wally Gold at RCA's urging. Elvis recorded it in Nashville, pouring his matured voice into a sweeping arrangement that reached far beyond his early rock hits. Session logs from Ernst Jorgensen show a meticulous process, multiple takes, careful phrasing, and a focus on crooner polish rather than raw energy. The gamble paid off. It's Now or Never shot to #1 in the United States for 5 weeks and held the top spot in the United Kingdom for 10 weeks, the longest of any Elvis single on those charts. The song's crossover appeal was immediate. It topped charts across Europe and became one of the best-selling singles of his career, earning 5 times platinum certification and amassing nearly 300 million streams in the digital age. RCA's European marketing push, complete with translation sheets and press events, positioned Elvis as a global romantic icon, not just an American rebel. While It's Now or Never may not be as universally cited as his most anthemic ballads, its success proved that Elvis could reinvent himself for a new decade. The song's lush sound and heartfelt delivery laid the groundwork for the romantic standards that would come to define his later years. This single represents a turning point, a moment when popularity met mature artistry.
At least please a telephone.
In July 1956, RCA shipped out a new Elvis single that would rewrite the rules of the music business. Don't Be Cruel blasted onto the airwaves and jukeboxes, backed by a relentless promotional push that left little to chance. RCA's internal memos reveal a clear strategy: flood radio stations, stack the racks, and keep Elvis's voice everywhere. The result was that Don't Be Cruel soared to #1 on the Billboard charts and refused to budge, locking down the top spot for 11 straight weeks, a record-tying run that stunned the industry. No other rock and roll single had ever dominated the charts for so long, and few have matched it since. The song's secret weapon was its universal appeal. Written by Otis Blackwell, it fused a snappy, finger-snapping beat with lyrics that felt both playful and direct. Elvis's delivery, smooth, confident, and just a little sly, turned it into a must-have for every teenager with a nickel for the jukebox. By the end of 1956, Don't Be Cruel had gone 4 times platinum, and today it has racked up close to 500 million streams, proof that its charm has not faded. This was more than just a hit. It was the moment Elvis became a commercial juggernaut. Don't Be Cruel did not just top the charts, it set the pace for a run of #1s that made Elvis the face of American pop. The single's unstoppable momentum paved the way for even bigger controversies and cultural battles, as the next song on the countdown will soon prove.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time.
In the summer of 1956, Hound Dog exploded onto the airwaves and into the heart of a national debate. Elvis's version, recorded at RCA on July 2nd, turned a blues shout into a rock and roll juggernaut. The song's roots traced back to Big Mama Thornton, who first recorded it in 1952, after songwriters Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller tailored it for her raw, commanding style. Her original topped the R&B charts, but it was Elvis's cover, fueled by a sped-up tempo and a wild stage presence that would ignite the country. Within weeks of its release, Hound Dog shot to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, holding that spot for an astonishing 11 weeks. RCA pressed millions of copies, and the single eventually sold enough to earn a 10 times platinum certification. Decades later, it is still racking up numbers, with around 600 million streams to date. But the song's impact went far beyond sales. When Elvis performed Hound Dog on national television, most infamously on The Milton Berle Show, his gyrating hips and sneering delivery unleashed a wave of public outrage. Newspapers dubbed him Elvis the Pelvis, church groups called for boycotts, and TV executives scrambled to censor future appearances. At the same time, critics and black artists pointed out that Elvis's fame and fortune came from a song first made famous by a black woman, fueling ongoing debates about race and appropriation in American music. Grail Marcus would later describe Hound Dog as a cultural lightning rod, a song that forced the country to confront its own boundaries. Its place in the top 5 is not just about numbers. It is about the way a 2-minute blast of sound could shake the foundations of pop culture.
You should have heard the locked out jailbird sing Let It Rock. Everybody let it rock.
Number 4. Jailhouse Rock. In 1957, a single song and a single scene vaulted Elvis Presley from pop star to pop culture icon. Jailhouse Rock, written by Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller, was not just a hit. It was the centerpiece of a film that redefined what a musical number could be. The title track stormed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and held the top spot for 7 weeks, earning 4 times platinum certification and amassing over 450 million streams in the streaming era. But it was the film's dance sequence, choreographed by Alex Romero, that left an imprint on generations. Romero, drawing on chain gang films and Broadway flair, crafted a routine that turned a prison set into a stage for rebellion. Presley, dressed in black denim, led a line of convicts through synchronized leaps, slides, and hip swivels, moves that would inspire music videos for decades to come. Studio executives at MGM were wary, concerned the choreography was too raw for mainstream audiences. Yet Romero later recalled that Elvis nailed it despite pushback. The finished number played uncut, and audiences responded with the kind of frenzy usually reserved for live concerts. Alana Nash, writing on the influence of Colonel Parker, notes that the manager's focus on commercial appeal sometimes clashed with creative risks. But here, the gamble paid off. Jailhouse Rock became more than a chart topper. It became a visual shorthand for rock and roll attitude. Its place at #4 is not just about numbers or nostalgia. It is about the way one song, one sequence, and one performer fused music and movement into something instantly unforgettable.
Well, I found a new place to dwell. Put us down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel.
In January 1956, a young Elvis Presley stepped into a converted garage on McGavick Street in Nashville, ready to record his first single for RCA Victor. The song was Heartbreak Hotel, inspired by a haunting newspaper story about a man's final note that read, "I walk a lonely street." Songwriters Mayborn Axton and Tommy Durden brought the idea to Elvis, who instantly connected with its sense of isolation and longing. He listened, grinned, and said, "That's my song." The session ran late into the night, with producer Steve Scholes overseeing a small band and a new echo effect that gave the track its cavernous, almost ghostly sound. Elvis's voice, raw, pleading, and full of ache, cut through the gloom, capturing something no pop record had before. Released just weeks later, Heartbreak Hotel shot to #1 on the Billboard charts and stayed there for 8 weeks, selling more than 1 million copies and earning double platinum status. It was the first time America heard the full force of Elvis's despair and rebellion in a single, unforgettable burst. Peter Guralnick called it the Big Bang, a record that made popular music feel dangerous and new. Today, Heartbreak Hotel has been streamed more than 350 million times, covered by artists from the White Stripes to John Cale, and remains a touchstone for anyone who has ever felt lost or alone. This was the moment Elvis became more than a regional star. He was now the voice of heartbreak for a restless generation.
Why can't you see what you're doing to me?
A Memphis studio in January 1969. The clock kept ticking past midnight. Elvis, restless after years of formulaic movie soundtracks, stood in American Sound Studio surrounded by a new band and a producer who refused to play by old rules. Chips Moman, the man behind the board, pushed him to dig deeper, insisting on take after take until the emotion was raw and undeniable. The tension in the room was thick. At one point, Moman threatened to walk out if the Colonel meddled with the arrangement. But Elvis wanted this song. He fought for it, pouring every ounce of frustration and hope into the microphone. Out of those 16-hour sessions came Suspicious Minds. Released in August 1969, it became Elvis's final #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, holding the top spot for 1 week and earning 4 times platinum certification. In the decades since, the song has racked up around 700 million streams, outpacing nearly every other track from his late career. It is the sound of a man clawing back his artistry, refusing to be boxed in by his own legend. The recording's urgency is still palpable, with drums building, horns blaring, and Elvis's voice pleading not to be trapped by doubt. Moman later said that Elvis fought for it with raw emotion. That night in Memphis, the king reclaimed his crown, and Suspicious Minds became the anthem of his comeback. Its revival power and streaming strength make it the emotional peak of his late years, just shy of the timeless standard waiting at #1.
I am falling in love with you.
A gentle melody opens on the shores of Hawaii in 1961 as Elvis Presley sits beside Joan Blackman in the film Blue Hawaii and softly sings "Can't Help Falling in Love." The song was never meant to be just another movie ballad. Its roots reach back to the French love song Plaisir d'amour, but Elvis's version, recorded for the film finale, became something altogether new, a standard for weddings, a soundtrack for goodbyes, and the emotional core of his live performances for the rest of his career. From the moment it was released, Can't Help Falling in Love captured listeners with its simplicity and sincerity. The single reached #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1962 and has since been certified 3 times platinum. But numbers only tell part of the story. What sets this song apart is how it became a ritual. Starting in 1969, Elvis closed nearly every concert with it. Setlist logs from Graceland confirmed the tradition. Fans would wait for that final gentle benediction as Elvis, often in his white jumpsuit, bid the audience goodnight. Jerry Schilling, a close friend and member of Elvis's inner circle, described the moment as the emotional peak of every show, and you could feel the whole room holding its breath. Decades later, the song's reach only grows. On streaming platforms, it has surpassed 1.5 billion plays, making it the most listened to Elvis track in the digital age. In 1993, UB40's reggae-infused cover took the song back to #1. In over a dozen countries, and sold more than 6 million copies, introducing it to a new generation. Today, Can't Help Falling in Love is a fixture at weddings, in films, and in countless covers across genres. Its universal message, love as something gentle, inevitable, and enduring, secures its place at the very top of any Elvis ranking. No other song in his catalog carries the same weight of memory, ritual, and cross-generational affection. It is, quite simply, the one that never leaves. Across these 10 legendary tracks, one pattern stands out. Elvis Presley's greatness lies in constant reinvention. Each era, from raw rock to heartfelt ballads to comeback anthems, reshaped popular music and connected with new generations. That timeless adaptability is why his songs still resonate decades later. Elvis didn't just define a genre, he defined how music evolves and endures. Which song still moves you most? Let us know in the comments.